Okay, so for propaganda to work, it has to rest upon a pre-propaganda base. In other words, propaganda, as I told you earlier, it's not something new. You can't really have propaganda about something that you don't already want to believe. So therefore, there has to be a pre-propaganda base, if you will, that is laid for the propaganda to be effective or for it to be activated. So let's talk about pre-propaganda. There are 4 presuppositions at least in Western civilization, and these have been pointed out by a great French Christian sociologist by the name of Jacques Ellul. And he points out the 4 presuppositions that undergird Western civilization. The very first one is that man is inherently good. So man has always desired and preferred to live in denial of his true sin nature. This has been going on since the days of Cain. This is the way of Cain. What does Cain do? Cain slays his brother, and then he lives in denial about what he's done. And then he is offered God's protection, but instead he goes out from the presence of God. And what does he do then? He goes and he has a child and then builds a city away from the presence of God, not understanding who he is, not embracing his role as a murderer. Instead, he tries to find himself through the building of a city and through children. He tries to extend himself through children. He tries to build his name and his children's name with the building of a city. So man believes himself to be inherently good. But we know the Bible cuts right to the core of that lie and says, no, you're not. You're not good. You are wicked. If you weren't wicked, Christ would not have had to come and die. Because we are wicked, we need a redeemer. If we were good, we wouldn't need a redeemer. But I want you to understand that the entire American nation, all of the propaganda that you will ever hear in the United States, if you're in the United States tonight, we have some people from China tonight. I see one of you from Brazil. But I'm going to be speaking primarily to the United States tonight because our overwhelming majority of you tonight are from the United States or Canada. The American government and the American propaganda, the propaganda that goes forth in democracies, is undergirded by a pre-propaganda idea or a presupposition that man is inherently good. Now, the gospel is against that. It confronts that. It says, no, you're not good. So therefore, the gospel contradicts propaganda. And I'm talking about the kind of propaganda that nation states leverage. In fact, we should probably say propaganda in and of itself is not negative. Propaganda is the propagation of an idea. But when we're talking about propaganda, not used in the hands of the good, but the evil, then of course it is negative. There's another presupposition that undergirds our Western civilization, and that is that man's ultimate aim in life is his own happiness. It's written right in the Declaration of Independence. Literally that phrase, the pursuit of happiness. That is the aim of man, to pursue his happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of my happiness. That is the aim. It's rooted in ancient pagan Greco-Roman philosophies. The belief that men should live their lives in pursuit of their own happiness contradicts the message and direct teachings of Jesus when he says, take up your cross and follow me, and he who wants to save his life shall lose it, but he who loses his life shall save it. He who loves his life is in danger, but he who hates his life will find his life. Jesus turns everything upside down. Jesus does not tell you to pursue your own happiness. That is an American heresy. What Jesus tells you to do is die to yourself. So again, the preacher has nothing in common with the American nation state. The preacher of the gospel has nothing in common with the American nation state that promotes the pursuit of happiness. But again, all propaganda rests upon this presupposition that man's ultimate aim is happiness. And if you try to propagandize a man and tell him that the aim of his life is not his own happiness, you will not get anywhere. If you try to propagandize someone but tell them that they are inherently flawed or inherently bad, you will not get anywhere. Do you understand what we're saying? These are the presuppositions that have to be in place in order for your propaganda to go forward. Here's another presupposition. It's another myth. But nevertheless, it's an idea that undergirds Western civilization, and that is that humanity is progressing. Because of the myth of human progress, it's much easier to sell a man an electric razor than a straight-edged one. A man will become excited over a new car because it is immediate evidence of his deep belief in progress of technology. We get excited about the iPhone 2, iPhone 3, iPhone 4, iPhone 10, iPhone 20. We get excited about the 2019 vehicle, then the 2020 vehicle. We believe that mankind is progressing, and we look for evidence from it through our technology. But we all know, if we have even opened up the Bible once, we see that man is descending to the place that when Christ comes, man is at the very bottom of the barrel. But don't tell American man that. Don't tell modern technological society man that. Don't tell modern economic man that. He does not want to hear that. You cannot use propaganda that way. You have to use the assumption that man is progressing. He's getting better. He's improving. Things are getting, so much better as we go. That's the myth. Can that be true and the Bible also be true? This presupposition that man is progressing is incorrect. But if you try to use propaganda and say that man is not progressing, you will fail. The fourth presupposition is that everything is matter. These ideas are derived from the Epicureans, which Paul debated at the Areopagus in the book of Acts. Other ancient pagan philosophies teach that everything is matter. We see that today now with our modern science, where everything is matter. Atoms. Atoms smashing atoms, that's what life is. The majority of people do not believe that God made the world the way that he said in the Bible. Instead, they believe that everything is matter and that God probably maybe used that somehow, but it's certainly not what God said in the Bible. And so again, if you try to have propaganda that opposes this basic scientific belief that everything is matter, you will fail. So propaganda can only succeed when it's laid upon the foundation of these four pre-propaganda presuppositions. Any propaganda that opposes the foundational understanding of the pre-propaganda is destined to fail.